Mm. Why ain't I
There
hearing
we
you?
go.
Okay, I hear you now.
Now you hear me.
Yeah. So how you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good to be an old man.
You out riding around with
Hey,
a
look,
chauffeur?
three weeks of growth on my beard. I ain't shaved in 3 weeks. You know.
So did anyone else say they're gonna join us?
It sounds like Donna said she was,
All right, I need to
but
call
you know,
her
I
because
mean,
she
people
always.
probably doing what they doing. If you want me to, I can text them.
Would you?
Yeah.
Just to make sure, because she was talking to me earlier about uh, something about
Was it
a
Donna?
casket wreath or something.
Oh yeah, spray.
Yeah, something like that. And I told her, just let me know what you want to do. You know,
Yeah.
I I didn't know Tyrone that well. You know.
Yeah. That's funny hearing you say that, but yeah, yeah, understood, understood. And you know, he was an older dude. You know, I mean, he was older than me, so I didn't know him that well, but you know, knew him a little
I
better.
mean, y'all spent more time with him than I did.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Period.
would go to the prison and visit. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah. I mean, no, no. Even before he went to prison, we spent more time. You know, so it's all good. But yeah, yeah, I hear you. And you know, I mean, I told Donna the same things. Like, hey, look, you know, I mean, for me, I didn't tell her, but I thought about it. It's like I'm recording this shit. So for me, y'all, I'm already recording. For me, I was like, you know, shit, let's give him what, you know, whatever he needs. Cause I've been like sending this guy like $25 a month for like
uh
20 years.
huh.
So like, you know, whatever happens, I mean, I'm coming out of here, you know. I mean, and I don't say that meanly, you know. I mean, it wasn't no
No,
burden,
no, no. I understand.
but I mean, I was just doing it, yeah, because I wanted to do it.
Right, right.
But saying that, you know, I can kick in 100, and I'm like still coming out of here.
Mhm. Mhm.
I think my internet is unstable.
Yeah, something just it just flipped you to a picture.
Yeah, because I turned my camera off, and it gives me a little bit more. It doesn't take up as much bandwidth.
Okay. Okay.
So you know, because it's just only sending the audio.
That's a good picture of you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a couple of years old, but you know.
Yeah, looking like Tiger Woods' brother.
You know, hey, you shouldn't be calling yourself out your name, brother. But if you want to, okay.
uh, did Donna give you a response?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I hit
Well,
her
she
and
probably
Bahati.
yeah, she probably just relaxing.
And I
And
think I,
Bahati won't get on till if she did, she wouldn't get on till later, right?
I have no idea. Let me see. I was talking with Brittany Beatty.
Mm-hmm.
I sent her the invitation, uh, and I sent Jamie the invitation,
Okay.
but I haven't heard from either one of them.
Well, I know
And
James. James already told me he
James,
lays his phone down and he answered when he ready to answer it, pretty much.
okay, Donna says yes. But when you say James, you mean James let the second.
Right.
Yeah,
Big brother.
right. Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, when he told me that, I just said okay, and that kind of Like I said, I'll call you. If you don't answer, you don't answer. Nothing I can do about it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's all it is, you know. I was telling Donna that about Tyrone's daughter, who was
Mm-hmm.
who was saying she kind of felt like, you know, she had been neglected a little bit by the
I
family.
don't know why the phone work both two ways. It
Well,
don't
you
work
know,
one way.
I mean, people just feel what they feel, you know,
Yeah.
and want what they want when they want it.
Yeah. Yeah. I run into that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it is. Yeah, so Donna said she's gonna get on,
All
but
right, let's
I
give
mean,
her a minute and see if
okay,
she'll jump on, and then
yeah,
we'll get started.
okay. How you doing down there in Mississippi, man? Well, you had a lot of hard weather recently, didn't
Well, it's supposed to be raining again tonight. It's supposed to be a bad storm tonight, or not bad, but a hard storm, I want to say,
you?
tonight. Heavy rain, high winds, the normal around this time of the year.
Mm.
So far, nothing has happened to us in our location. Everything comes our way and either go above us or below us. It just goes around us and then it comes back together and head to Birmingham. I planted some, well, I put a garlic bed in, but I planted some sugar snap sweet peas, turnip greens, and mustard greens. That must be Donna.
Hey,
Hey, baby sis.
sorry I'm late.
That's all right. You got your questions wrote down? I'm late too.
I was just gonna listen this time.
What?
I didn't write no questions down this time.
Okay.
Dub just
You are
reminded
the host now.
me.
Okay.
How many questions you write down?
None, because Dub is going to talk about subjects that are not work related, but things he's done in his career in life
Okay.
outside of work.
Okay.
That's what we talked about where we left off.
Sounds like a winner to me.
Okay. All right. So we're ready, Dub?
Yeah, man, I'm having a little bit of problems with my internet, but I'm here. Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
All right.
So, Mr. Woolard,
Yes, sir.
per our last conversation, we talked about your employment career.
Oh, okay.
We talked a little bit about your military background
Oh, yeah.
and some of your college experiences.
Okay.
And I had asked you at the end of the conversation about some of the things you did, not that you didn't receive pay for.
Oh, yeah. So my community engagement.
Yeah, you call them community engagements. I call them hidden talents.
Just call it unpaid labor.
So let's start in Chicago.
Yeah.
When you was running around with I don't want to say that president's name, but the dude who became a senator and became a president.
Oh, no,
What's wrong
no.
with
I was no. I was never running around with him. We were in the
I
other
know,
camp.
I know. But did you know Bobby Rush?
Yeah, yeah. I work with Bobby Rush, knew Bobby Rush, and I don't know if he would know me if I walked up on him today. It's been like, 40 years since we didn't seen each other. But through CBUC, through Chicago Black United Communities and Georgia and Lou Palmer, working with them, we ended up working with actually Brenda worked in the office. So everybody who came to see Lou had to go through her. So
So you got to work with Lou Palmer also.
I got to work with Lou Palmer. Yeah, Brenda worked with her him closer, but I worked with him as well. I was part of the organization, you know.
Okay,
And
let's touch on what you call it, CBUC.
Chicago Black United Communities.
Okay, let's
The
touch on
acronym.
that real quick. What was that organization about?
Well, that organization came out of a group that was formed by Lou Palmer, who was a journalist that got a radio show sponsored, like a radio commentary. It wasn't a radio show. It was kind of strange because it was almost like a commercial. It was like a 5 or 10 minute little sound bite that he would give that was sponsored by Bell Telephone called Lou's Notebook, and he made political commentary. Whatever was going on in the world, he'd make some comment about it. And through that, he got a very high profile within the city, because he was saying some interesting things, and that was a big platform, sponsorship through Illinois Bell, the telephone company. So from that started a book club, and from that book club started a nonprofit um, political organization. It was political education, not political lobbying, but political organization called Chicago Black United Communities. And one of the things that Lou Palmer did, because he was such a celebrity, then he had a lot of, and because he was one celebrity, but also he had a lot of integrity. Then he got a lot of respect within the community. And he and his wife came up with this idea after Jane Belandet, not Jane Belandet, Jane Byrne ran. What happened with? How did that happen? Yeah, Jane Byrne ran against Mike Belandet
Right.
when
No,
old man Daley died. Richard J. Daley died in office. He was replaced by this guy named Belandet, and at the end of his term, uh, Jane Byrne, this woman, ran against him and beat him. And part of the reason she beat him was because people in the community of African descent were a little pissed off because that winter there was a big storm, and they took the trains from the south side and sent them over to the north side to get people home, leaving the people on the south side high and dry. And Belandic did during Belandic's administration. So Jane Byrne ran, and she beat Belandic partly through the support of the community of African descent. Then, when she was coming up for her next, while she was in office, first there was a school board vacancy, and the school boards were assigned by like districts and geographically, and there was a school board opening over in the area around 77th and Halsted, where I'm losing this guy's name. I was gonna say the alderman over there. He was like, and Seabuck was leaning on him, like, hey, that's a black district. We need a black school board member. And John Streeter was the no, it wasn't Streeter. It'll come to me. But anyway, the school board wasn't elected; it was appointed by the mayor. And Jane Byrne appointed this European woman as the school board member. So Lou Palmer, what do you call him, Jesse Jackson, they kind of got pissed off, and Jane Byrne did something. What did they call it first? It wasn't Chicago Fest at first. But anyway, they did something like had some kind of the beginning of the Chicago Fest movement, the outdoor festival movement, down on Navy Pier. And so they were boycotting it. Jesse Jackson and Lou Palmer and them saying, we're going to boycott this event because Jane Byrne didn't follow the will of the people. And so she was coming up for re-election. And there were several people that wanted to run for mayor from the African American community. Jesse White, who was Secretary of State, this guy, Newhouse, who was, I think, state treasurer or something. No, he was a Senator Newhouse. There were a couple of other people, and one of them was Congressman Harold Washington. And so Georgia Palmer came up with this idea. She said, we're going to have a black plebiscite. Plebiscite is a fancy word for group decision making. And she said, we're going to bring all the different groups of African descent together at this church Reverend Martin was the pastor of the church. I don't remember the name of the church. And we're gonna vote on who we want to run for mayor from the Black community. And so we had the plebiscite. We meaning CBUC, Chicago Black United Communities, organized this plebiscite. Everybody agreed. Folk came and who wanted to run, and they like talked about what their program was and blah blah blah. And so we voted. They voted actually, and Harold Washington came out the winner. He emerged as a winner. And Harold Washington said, "Thank you for your votes." He said, "But before I agreed to run for mayor, y'all got to register 50,000 new voters." And so CBUC said, "Okay, cool. We taking that challenge." And so CBUC helped organize, CBUC along with other groups. You had people like Conrad Worrell and Doug Gills. You had a lot of, the muckety mucks, the activists that were running around. They were all coming through CBUC because that was like central headquarters and organizing central. So we went out and we actually registered more than 50,000 new voters. And so that's what CBUC was about. And then as we were preparing to do and so Harold Washington won when we first started going out, people was like, oh, like he can't win. It's like, well, we'll vote for him, but he can't win. And then he went on and did the debate in the Democratic primary with Jane Byrne. People were so impressed with his performance that, because, he had a vocabulary. And
right.
They were so impressed with his performance that they were like, hey, yeah, we'll vote for him. And that election, the Harold Washington election, was a prototype for both Nelson Mandela and for Barack Obama's presidential election. Because people was coming, like, people was sick in their hospital bed, grandmamas. I mean, people was like crawling out. I got a poster right now on my wall from the primary, called "Keep the Dream Alive" with Harold Washington surrounded by a bunch of little kids, And so anyway, what CBUC started doing was providing political education classes, teaching people what are the offices that are available to run for, what are the duties, what are the requirements to run a campaign. And coming up out of that, along with Harold Washington, was Danny Davis, Ed Smith, I think, over on the West Side. I don't know if Coy Pugh got involved back then, but Harold Washington, what do you call Bobby Rush? There were, and even on the among the Hispanics, there were a couple of people who are still in Congress who got elected as part of the coalition with Harold Washington. So after he won, after he won that, then he kind of like became really the sort of what they call the godfather of politics, because everybody knew that he was involved in pulling that off. So something happening in Chicago, you had to come through CBUC with Lou Palmer.
Okay, now what was your function or duties, or how did you get involved?
I was.
I think your internet's acting up again. I think your internet's acting up. Don, are you there?
Turn my phone on because this thing keeps my desktop keeps freezing up.
Okay. That brought you back.
I keep freezing up. I put my phone on. I think I do better with my phone. But I was saying that I was in my early to mid 20s when I started working at CBUC, started working with CBUC. And let me close this down and start this up.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.